Well, if you're in the tourism and hospitality business, you have to be resilient, because since 2001, we've either been in decline or recovery 50% of the time.
Halifax and Nova Scotia, I think, are on the cusp of something big. We have been discovered, but there's still so much more opportunity for us.
Welcome to Place, the Tourism Industry Association of Nova Scotia's podcast. Our industry is worth $3.2 billion annually and employs over 50,000 Nova Scotians. So this podcast is designed to talk about tourism and the issues and topics that matter. Each episode, we will explore conversations that demonstrate the interconnectivity between tourism and the social, cultural, environmental health of the province. There is no place like Nova Scotia, and we want to ensure every Nova Scotia community benefits from the positive impacts that only tourism can bring.
Everybody's excited about the future and being able to put additional new exciting products for guests to enjoy when they're visiting Nova Scotia.
Getting people here and moving them around remains a crucial component of a successful tourism destination. Access to the province with direct air and ferry routes matters. The condition of our infrastructure like roads, signage, have a direct impact on our brand. Likewise, today's tourists are connected, informed, and they're arriving with purpose. They want to share their experience as it happens and stay in the loop on what offerings surround them. To put it simply, we need to be as connected and accessible as possible.
So we get people who are coming for different reasons. We get people who are coming because they have sort of a shared history, or people looking for the connections to us and them. We get a lot of people who have never heard of the existence of Blacks in Nova Scotia and have no idea around the rich culture that's here.
This is Juanita Peters. She's the executive director of the Africville Museum. Despite Africville being located on the northern shore of the Halifax Peninsula, one of the province's most densely populated areas, access is a major issue for anyone hoping to visit.
Historically, Africville has always been out and apart from everywhere. And here we are, 2024, and we still don't have transportation to Africville. We are a National Historic Site with no way for people to get there other than if you don't have a car, if you don't have your own vehicle. Often if people are at hotels, the concierge will say, just get off on Barrington Street and it's a short little walk. Well, it's 25 minutes if you're fit and a very dangerous 25-minute walk. So
a car is often the only way to fully access all that we have to offer. But while local transit still needs development, our international access is rapidly expanding. This is the busy departure area of Halifax International Airport, the gateway to our entire region.
My name is Marie Manning. I am the Vice President of Business Development, Chief Commercial Officer for Halifax International Airport Authority. Halifax International Airport Authority manages this beautiful facility here, the largest airport in Atlantic Canada and the gateway to the region. If you can't easily get here, you don't really have a tourism industry. It's critical to the industry itself. This year, we're really happy that we're coming out of the pandemic. After 5 very difficult years, we will be very close to full recovery. So we're forecasting that to be around 97% of where we were in 2019. And we have a lot of nonstop services with up to 38 destinations being served by 15 airlines this year. So we're really happy with the progress that we've made. And we have some the map looks a little different than it did in 2019, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. We're still focused on increasing those destinations, bringing back some of those destinations that are still unserved or under capacity. But also we're really happy that we've been able to add a few new as well.
As Nova Scotia's global profile increases, Halifax International Airport Authority are facilitating the increased demand.
There is a lot of interest in visiting Nova Scotia from afar, and been able to grow a lot of the destinations. We will this year be above where we were in 2018 and 2019 in terms of the number of seats available to be sold between here and Europe. So we're really thrilled with that. We are the largest airport that is closest to Europe. And so having that market size, you can fly regional sized aircraft from here to Europe. We're seeing a trend of larger aircraft because of the demand is there, which is awesome as well and great. But we do have that flexibility because of the geographical closeness to Europe. So there are opportunities.
But sometimes growth can mean challenges.
Some of the challenges for us is, from an airport perspective, is that we now will see, in this summer, we will see more people using our terminal building at the same time. So it will be busier than it has been in the past during those peak hours. And so we have a lot of things in place to mitigate, that experience. So you'll see a lot of entertainment this summer in our terminal building. We'll have our volunteers and our airport experience employees out and about to making sure that they can assist passengers where they can. It will be challenging, but we've got a lot of things in place to help ensure that people continue to have a positive experience going through here.
So while the flow of people is important, so is the flow of data. Digital connectivity is a must for forward-thinking tourist destinations. And you might not know it, but Nova Scotia was a very early innovator.
So my name is Gordon Stewart, and I live today in Marriott's Cove in Lunenburg County, Nova Scotia, with my wife. So after university, or actually during university, I actually started in business early. I was actually driving home when I lived in Mahone Bay at that time, and there was a business that I liked there. It was called The Teaser in Mahone Bay, and it was destroyed by fire. And I said on the way home about 3 miles outside of town, I said, I'm going to buy that business. And that's what got me into the tourism business. And I became the first president of Tie-Ins.
So while Gordon's career in the tourism industry was taking off, so was his drive to innovate.
So at some point, you build enough inventory or equity, you have something to lose, then that factor of risk comes in, you get a little bit more cautious on making those decisions overall. It was very innovative at the time. It was a reservation system. It was designed to be a central reservation system, primarily for hotels, but we also expanded to campgrounds and went further afield after that. And we developed a system called Check-In, and then we called it Check-In Nova Scotia, which became Check-Ins. And we developed that. We started off using a Reservac 2 Air Canada res system they use for our airline industry, but then we switched and developed our own along the way.
Gordon and his team had built a unique system that transformed connectivity and communication in the Nova Scotian tourism industry. It put Nova Scotia at the cutting edge when most other destinations lacked any kind of innovation comparable to it. The digital world has profoundly transformed tourism. However, the biggest digital leap forward may only just be getting started.
When we look at successful companies today, it's very easy to think, oh, it's just a startup, or oh, they have the right funding, and all these excuses why companies are successful. But if you step back and you look at what makes companies succeed today, we actually see that there are patterns that define those successful companies. And what we developed with our exponential thinking framework is a way to tap into that new thinking, that new way of restructuring your business using those patterns to create something that's sustainable and scalable. And what it is coming up with different disruptive questions where you basically tinker with what you already have. You use the tools, the maybe even the data, the relationships that you already established, but how do you use that to tap into new opportunities, to tap into new markets, to completely reimagine your business? So I'm Lital Marom. I'm an engineer by trade and also a serial entrepreneur. I lived in 10 countries and living here for a while. I lived in Vancouver, now in Toronto. I run 2 companies. One is called Unfold. It's an innovation consulting firm where we help mid-size and large companies with their innovation, business model innovation. And I also have a creative leadership academy where we help the next generation get the skill sets and the mindset that they need to be successful in the world, which I'm super passionate about. We're really redefining leadership as we know it. And we're scaling it now across Canada. We started in Vancouver, now we're scaling it in Toronto, Nova Scotia, Calgary, everywhere.
Lital is a consultant who challenges traditional thinking and guides leaders, teams, and organizations to explore new growth opportunities. And she has plenty to share around tourism.
So there's a lot of things happening now in every single industry, primarily due to Gen AI and AI, of course. So we're seeing a lot of companies now creating Gen AI chatbots to create this personal concierge experience. So if we think about now recommendation, 10x that recommendation. It's all about what exactly you like, what exactly your profile and needs are, and giving you all those details, whether it's a hotel that fits your lifestyle, not just your budget, whether it's notifications on experiences that you can have wherever you go, but really deep down, like you like art, here's art exhibitions. You're in tech, here's the tech conferences that are happening in the city. Amazing, detailed recommendations that are tailored to you. So we're seeing that. And also we're seeing Gen AI really affecting sustainable and responsible tourism, which is super important. So it's not just about innovation in tourism, it's also about creating responsible tourism, because we can use AI to basically monitor and analyze environmental data and then help businesses to minimize, first of all, their ecological footprint, but also help them to create more eco-friendly experiences for their customers in tourism. So there's a whole wide spectrum that's completely changing the tourism industry.
So right now, there's a whole new world of opportunity. And you don't have to be a big tourism operator to potentially tap into this once-in-a-generation technological revolution.
So we have to remember that all these large organizations didn't start as a large organization, and that's exactly my point of the things that I share. They started in a small niche. Even TripAdvisor, which is massive, didn't start as TripAdvisor than we know. They just provided review. They were just an aggregator of reviews. But then they used the exponential thinking and they asked big transformative questions, and they used their assets, they used their tools, they used their data to scale and create other services and new markets that allowed them to completely transform their businesses. The fact that you're small doesn't mean anything. Actually, you can be very nimble. There's a lot of tools today. You don't need a lot of capital to create a lot today. There's so many things you can use, especially with Gen AI, that can really fast track your scale, and you just have to focus and be creative. That's what we need to do now. We have all the tools, we need to think creatively. That's what I mean with exponential thinking. We live in a world where we have AI, we have technology, we have tools, we have data, we've got everything. But we need to step up and ask these big, bold, transformative questions to change our business, to expand our business. And that's why we need to start stepping up and being more, adopting critical thinking, being more creative, and not just focusing on measuring success based on repetitive work that's often not very creative. And that's what we're doing right now, but that's going to change. We're just at the beginning of the revolution, I think. We haven't even scratched the surface. We already think that a lot of things are happening with Gen AI, but honestly, it didn't even start.
Thank you for listening to Place, the Tourism Industry Association of Nova Scotia's podcast. If you'd like to learn more about the work we do to support, promote, and celebrate our tourism industry, please visit tiens.org.